This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Good morning and happy Friday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Griffin. Lauren Casey has the morning off. We have a lot of news to get to this morning, but one of the big stories we will be discussing are some changes here in Marion County when it comes to wearing masks. Beginning July 9th, the Marion County Health Department will require people out in public to wear a mask. The new mask requirement applies to anyone age 3 and older unless a medical condition prevents you from wearing one. The executive order includes all retail and office buildings unless you are alone inside your office. If you are caught not wearing a mask, you could face a fine, and we will have much more on this story coming up here on Good Morning Indiana. But now we want to get a first check of your forecast with Storm Team 6 meteorologist Todd Clausen. Todd, are we going to have a hot weekend?
Nicole, you could say that about 3 times over here with 90-degree temperatures expected today, tomorrow, and Sunday. And honestly, we're just going to continue those 90-degree temperatures beyond into the middle of next week. Outside right now, temperatures are sitting in the 60s and 70s across the area. 65 in Bloomington, 71 in Kokomo and Lafayette. Storm Team 6 radar is quiet this morning. That's the way we are expecting it to remain throughout the entire day today. So it's another hot one. Yesterday, we didn't quite make it to 90 degrees. Our high topped off at 89. So today would be the day that we would start the heat wave across the area officially, I think, with a high of 92 degrees. As far as the humidity goes, there'll be some around. You'll notice it a little bit, I think, throughout the afternoon hours, but it's nothing like what we saw at the beginning of the week when we had the real high dew points and that tropical-like atmosphere. So today it's more about the heat than it is the humidity. But if you are going to be outside, make sure you drink plenty of water and you stay hydrated throughout the entire day. Nicole?
All right, Todd, thank you. It is 4th of July weekend, and that means a lot of people will be setting off fireworks across central Indiana. We know with many shows being canceled, people will be doing this more likely at home. And our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning with some good advice for you and your family as we head into this 4th of July weekend, how to keep yourself safe, some of the common mistakes people make, and we'll have all that information coming up with Alyssa live later on this morning. Also this weekend, it will be busy out at IMS. 3 races in 2 days on 2 tracks, but with no fans. The racing gets started tomorrow at noon with a doubleheader on the road course. The Indy cars hit the track first with the GMR Grand Prix. NASCAR's Xfinity Series will follow with the Pennzoil 150. And then on Sunday, everything shifts to the historic oval. The Big Machine Hand Sanitizer 400 gets the green flag at 4 p.m. We'll have coverage of that coming up here on Good Morning Indiana. Plus, of course, we have your news, weather, and traffic to start your Friday.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
As coronavirus cases continue to increase across the country, local leaders are taking action. This morning, the requirement soon going into place in one central Indiana county. Plus,
I'm really glad that the state's finally stepping up and going to be providing that for all Hoosier communities.
families are reacting to the state's sudden decision to release specific locations of COVID-19 deaths in Indiana nursing homes. This morning, Call 6 Investigates is digging into what comes next. And
I'm going there to win the race. I'm not going to be third. I'm not going in thinking I could be 5th or 6th or 7th.
a busy weekend of racing is just hours away at IMS this morning. How drivers are preparing for a historic weekend with no fans in the stands. It's 4:30 on your Friday morning. Thanks for starting your morning with us here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Nicole Griffin. Meteorologist Todd Clausen standing by. And Todd, man, we are going to have to keep the water close by all weekend long, it sounds like.
Yeah, you know, drink the water, and if you could be by water, whether it's a pool, a lake, a river, or stream here across central Indiana, that would be the place to be, just to try to keep cool. And as we go throughout the weekend, we're talking about high temperatures that will be up in the 90s each and every day. As far as temperatures right now, it's not Out there, we're sitting in the 60s and 70s across the area. 65 in Bloomington, 70s the current temperature in Tipton. Visibility not an issue here this morning, as you can see way off into the distance, and we're not expecting any patchy fog to settle in. Just like yesterday, more of the clouds will be off to our west in Illinois than we'll see here in central Indiana. So I think any storm development today will also be off to our west in portions of Illinois. Expecting mostly sunny skies for our forecast today. Look how quick we warm. Up to 87 degrees by the noon hour. That would put us higher than we were yesterday at noon temperature-wise. Yesterday we got up to 89. I think today we probably make it up into the low 90s for your afternoon high. We'll talk more about your 4th of July forecast for itself tomorrow and Sunday as well, coming up in just a few minutes. Nicole.
All right, Todd, thank you. Let's take a live look at traffic this morning as we start your Friday. This is I-465 at Man Road. You can see not a whole lot of traffic out on the roads. Everything seems to be moving smooth if you are heading out the door in this area. We start this morning with a story you're going to want to let your friends and family know about. Beginning July 9th, the Marion County Health Department will require people out in public to wear a mask. The new mask requirement applies to anyone age 3 and older unless a medical condition prevents you from wearing one. The executive order includes all retail and office buildings unless you are alone inside your own office. If you're caught not wearing a mask, you could face a fine. We have this story for you to share right now on the RTV6 News app. On Wednesday, state health officials reported 453 new COVID-19 cases, and so far 46,387 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with the coronavirus. The State Department of Health also reports 13 new deaths. More than 2,400 Hoosiers have died from COVID-19 since the pandemic began. Families, advocates, and lawmakers are applauding the state's decision to be more transparent about COVID-19 deaths in Indiana nursing homes. That includes the exact facilities where residents have died. Call 6 Investigates has been asking for this information since April. Our Kara Kenny even filed a formal complaint with the state's public access counselor, but officials denied the requests. On Wednesday, the Holcomb administration had a change of heart. The state credited groups like AARP for the decision, saying earlier in the pandemic, the state was focused on testing and infection control within nursing homes. People with loved ones in those facilities are relieved.
It's transparency that not only the families appreciate, but the communities where these nursing centers exist, I think really do deserve that kind of data. And I think Hoosiers are smart enough to realize that a nursing center with higher cases or deaths doesn't necessarily mean that that nursing center isn't up to par.
We can maybe learn from those facilities that have had a significant impact and what they're doing better now and what has helped. And so I hope that we can use this data to tell the story and learn from it.
A searchable dashboard of nursing homes will be available later this summer. It will include deaths and cases dating back to March 1st, as well as demographics. Call 6 requested a one-on-one interview with Governor Holcomb to learn more about this decision. We were told he's unavailable. We also reached out to the Indiana Healthcare Association, which represents nursing homes. They told us, quote, data reporting can be a burden, particularly in the middle of a pandemic and with brand new reporting tools. However, we know this is important for our residents, their families, and the public, and we are committed to serving them. Those needing life-saving assistance in Marion County are having trouble getting through to 911 dispatchers.
It was just unacceptable that my son is being shot. I'm calling 911. I'm getting a recording.
Tiffany Coker says she was not able to talk to a dispatcher right away after someone shot her son last month. She reached out to RTV6 for answers. In working for you, here's what we learned. According to call logs, Tiffany waited on hold for 1 minute and 38 seconds before hanging up and calling again. She hung up again after waiting for 16 seconds. A dispatcher called her back right after that.
It's very disheartening that 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday that I can't get the police, we'll get 911 on the phone. Like, what's going on that we can't get anyone?
Every day I go home at night and think about these type of calls that don't get through. And I want to apologize to her. That's very frustrating because there are emergencies come through, like this lady and her son. They had a That was a life or death emergency, and her call should have been answered a lot sooner.
Major Michael Hubbs with the Marion County Sheriff's Office tells RTV6 abuse of the 911 system leads to delays. About 60% of calls are not true emergencies, but officials say there were several other factors in Tiffany's case. 911 calls were also coming in for 3 other emergencies. They admit her wait time was well above Marion County's average, which is currently 11.4 seconds. Leaders with the dispatch center say do not hang up if you call 911 and get a recording. Calls are answered and returned in the order they are received. So calling back ties up the system. Tiffany says luckily her son is okay. It will be a weekend unlike any ever seen at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and the biggest part being hardly anyone will actually see the race inside. No race fans in the stands, but there will be 3 races at the track. Here's our Brad Brown with a look.
This weekend's forecast of sunshine and temperatures in the 90s is a far cry from the IndyCar Grand Prix of a year ago. Mid-50s and steady rain all day last May, but it wasn't enough to slow down Simon Pagenaud. He worked his way meticulously through the pack and found himself battling for the lead after halfway. Pagenaud and his Team Penske car were the class of the field, as would be the case for the entire month of May a year ago. Simon would tally his 3rd road course win at IMS. He'll go for number 4 this weekend, and he's locked in on nothing but the top step of the podium.
You know, as a driver, when you go to a track where you've won before or a track where you've had good success, you just have a level of confidence that's higher for sure. You know, I'm going into the Grand Prix with very high expectation of myself and my car and my team. And, you know, I'm going there to win the race. I'm not going to be 3rd. I'm not going in thinking I could be 5th or 6th or 7th. The goal is to win. And quite frankly, you know, that's the only thought I have. But there are a lot of things that's going to happen, a lot of things out of my control. All I can do is the best I can.
Grand Prix qualifying goes on Friday afternoon around 4:30. IndyCar's race will go green just after 12 o'clock on Saturday. The NASCAR Xfinity Series will be on the road course after that. Sunday's Cup Series race on the oval goes for 400 miles starting right around 4 p.m. No practice or qualifying for NASCAR's Top Series. They use a random draw to set the field, and Joey Logano will be on pole position when they take the green flag. He'll be joined by Kurt Busch on the front row. Jimmy Johnson starts 4th in what could be his last Brickyard 400. Defending race winner Kevin Harvick will start 11th. Brad Brown, RTV6 Sports.
Brad, thank you. Here's a look at the busy weekend on tap out at 16th and Georgetown. The racing gets started tomorrow at noon with a doubleheader on the road course. The IndyCars hit the track first with the GMR Grand Prix. NASCAR's Xfinity Series will follow with the Pennzoil 150. Then on Sunday, everything shifts to the historic oval. The Big Machine Hand Sanitizer 400 gets the green flag at 4 p.m. Indiana's lakes will be busy this holiday weekend, and if you plan on hitting the water, there are some things you need to know before you head out. The Indiana Department of Natural Resources says boaters need to avoid hitting the water when they've had too much to drink. This is part of Operation Dry Water. The year-long operation will be even more focused starting today and continuing through this weekend. Officials say you should have enough life jackets on your boat for every person on board. This morning, there's a new lawsuit surrounding the execution scheduled to take place in Terre Haute this month. Dale Harkmeyer, a Zen Buddhist priest, filed the lawsuit on Thursday on behalf of Wesley Perkey. The lawsuit argues the Bureau of Prisons is putting the priest's life at risk by holding Perkey's execution during the coronavirus pandemic. Harkmeyer argues he must be present at the July 15th execution to be a spiritual guide to Perkey. Covering education this morning, schools in the Hoosier State are now able to apply for more money to keep your students safe. The money is part of a $19 million grant from Governor Eric Holcomb. The grant can be used for school resource officers and other safety precautions. The Indiana Department of Homeland Security is accepting applications through July 31st. This morning, thousands of Hoosiers remain without a job and looking for work. Still ahead, how high unemployment numbers are leading to an increase in scams. Plus,
have seen people, they're just living their normal life.
College officials in Washington state are trying to get a COVID-19 breakout under control this morning. Why nearby residents say they're not surprised by the outbreak. Todd.
And Nicole, as we go throughout the course of this holiday weekend, it's going to be all about the heat, at least weather-wise. As high pressure is going to build in, it'll put highs in the 90s, not only for the weekend, but into much of next week as well. We'll talk all about it coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now, it's 4:41. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV 6. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes.
Hiring Hoosiers only on RTV 6.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 4:44. We're taking a live look outside from one of our INDOT traffic cameras this morning. This is I-70 at Sherman Drive. You can see at this early hour, not too many cars out on the roads. We will keep an eye on traffic all morning long. This morning, several dozen students living in a fraternity house near the University of Washington have tested positive for the coronavirus. University officials say nearly 40 students in 10 houses have been diagnosed with the virus. A spike in cases among young adults has health officials encouraging people to double down on precautions. Those living near the fraternity houses say the outbreak has them taking the virus more seriously.
Everyone who I live with is taking extra precautions. We're all going and getting tested this week. A lot of people that I know who are living in or around the fraternities are also taking precautions and getting tested.
Fraternity leaders say students who tested positive or have COVID-like symptoms are isolating in their rooms. Officials say no one has been hospitalized or reported severe symptoms. As millions of people continue to stay at home, many can expect high electricity bills for the next few months. That's new information by an analysis from Arcadia. About a dozen of the largest cities in the country will see an increase of up to $37 in each monthly bill. East Coast cities will likely see the biggest spikes due to the cost of energy. West Coast cities may only see an increase of up to $20 a month. And Todd, I know a lot of people will be getting a good workout of their AC with this hot weekend expected.
Yeah, you know, this entire month, we're only a couple days in, but if you go back to the end of June with all that heat and humidity we have, the air conditioners have been working overtime, and not much is going to change in this forecast going forward, Nicole. We're going to look back before we look forward here in the forecast for the day today, and we're going back to July of 2012, and that was a really, really hot year in summer overall, not just for July, for central Indiana. That's when we got into that big-time drought, and we saw some lakes and drying up. 28 of 31 days of the month of July back in 2012 hit 90 degrees or more. 7 of those days were 100 degrees or more, and temperatures hit 105 twice. Now, I don't think we're going to get into the triple-digit heat here over the course of the next few days, but we are definitely going to have a prolonged streak of 90-degree temperatures. We didn't quite get there yesterday. 89 was our high temperature in Indy yesterday. So after the first day of the month at 90, yesterday we were 89. So for a technical heat wave, you have to have 3 days of 90-degree temperatures or more in a row. So we'll need to start that over here today, but we're definitely going to have a heat wave across the area. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s this morning, 65 in Bloomington and Sullivan right now, 66 in Greenfield, Indy at 71 degrees. Throughout the day today, our temperatures, they will warm extremely quick. We'll be around 87 degrees already by the noon hour today. And then by the time we get to the afternoon, we're looking at a high temperature that tops off at 92 degrees with skies that'll be mostly sunny. Just a few fair weather clouds outside right now, and then back off to our west. That's where we find the storm action near St. Louis and beyond, and that's where the storm action should stay throughout the course of the day today. So if you have evening plans kicking off the holiday weekend, it'll be a hot one, still around 90 at 7 p.m. and then temperatures slowly fall back down into the mid 80s as we work our way into the evening hours. Sunset tonight is at 9:17. Going forward in this forecast, Saturday and Sunday, more of the same. High temperatures in the low 90s. Tomorrow, I do think there is a chance of about a 20% pop-up storm. It shouldn't be anything you need to curtail your plans around if you do have them outdoors. They should be very, very hit or miss, but just want to let you know that is a possibility. Better storm chances arrive by Tuesday of next week, but look at those high temperatures. We'll stay in the low 90s for afternoon highs, and overnight lows will only be down to right around 70 degrees. Nicole.
Todd, thank you. Let's take another live look outside on this Friday morning. We're looking at our INDOT traffic camera at I-465 at White River. You can see not too many cars out on the roads, no problems or delays to report in this area. The latest report from the Labor Department shows more than 19 million people are unemployed. And this morning, Alicia Nieves shows us how high unemployment is leading to an increase in scam activity.
There are a lot of people looking for work right now, and therefore a lot of people who are being targeted by scammers.
I was actually scammed myself.
In March, shortly after Amelia Brockman uploaded her profile to the gig site Upwork, she had her first experience with what's known as an employment scam.
A job by a guy who would pay a lot of money for it. I was desperate because I didn't want to go back to actual outside work.
This put her in a vulnerable place where she ignored some of the warning signs.
I got the job, it seemed legit, and then he started asking, if I'm going to pay you, I need you to go buy Google cards. Something about, he needed to put me in the system.
She never got paid. In fact, lost roughly $3,000 in Google card purchases.
People are heartless at this point. Not everyone, just the scammers. And it's getting ridiculous.
Over the past 3 months, while looking for other work, Brockman has come across at least 40 other job scam posts, including this one where during an interview, the interviewer started asking her for personal information and to purchase equipment.
And then I called the company and eventually I texted him back, dear sir, that is a scam. You don't work for him, and he blocked me.
According to the Better Business Bureau, employment scams rank #1 as the riskiest scams right now. A newly released report by the BBB shows 53% of the people targeted by employment scams are unemployed, and roughly 75% of the people actually scammed are in personal financial crisis. To avoid being a victim of an employment scam yourself, the BBB says there are a few things you can do. They include noticing if a job posting has grammatical errors or misspellings. If it does, it's usually a scam. Remembering you should never have to pay to get a job or have to provide your credit card and bank account information. Legitimate employers provide a paper check option to get paid. Lastly, try to research the company or employer to see if they have had complaints. If you come across a posting that you suspect is a scam or get scammed,
you should go report it. You don't want other people to be scammed the same way.
I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
A new report this morning shows it could take years for the U.S. economy to recover from the coronavirus. The Congressional Budget Office released its 10-year forecast Thursday. It estimates unemployment won't return to pre-pandemic levels for at least 10 years. The CBO is also revising its forecast for overall economic growth, and it's predicting the deficit could quadruple this year. Catching your next movie soon may be as easy as getting groceries. After the break, how Walmart's latest plan puts you in front of the big screen. Plus, despite many being canceled, there are still plenty of fireworks shows happening this weekend. Download the RTV6 app right now to find out a full list of all the shows happening around this area. It's 4:52. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. Stay with us.
Learn more at indianavoters.com.
You'll soon be able to catch your next movie and get groceries all in one stop. This morning, Walmart says it's transforming 160 store parking lots into drive-in theaters. Starting in August, amid the coronavirus pandemic, drive-in theaters have been making a comeback as a safer alternative to the traditional movie theaters. Walmart is partnering with Tribeca Enterprises for the films. Locations and movie titles haven't been announced just yet. The events will run through October and include more than 300 showings. And Todd, if you're heading to the drive-in this weekend, be prepared to sit in your car with the AC on. What do you think?
I think that is going to be a must, Nicole, no matter where you are. Even just driving around, the AC will be cranked in your car. And if you don't have any AC in your home, there's a lot of public places that do have air conditioning. You can maybe go give yourself a little bit of a break during the peak heating of the day, if that's a possibility for you. High temperatures in the 90s straight across the board. Mostly sunny today. Tomorrow, just about a 20% chance of a pop-up storm. The warmest day is probably Monday at 94. Potentially Tuesday is the day where the storms are the more widespread day at 93 degrees. But again, it's all about the heat and some little bit of humidity that's around. The humidity is not super high here throughout the course of the weekend. We'll dive into the forecast in more detail for you coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 4:57.